Good morning. Welcome to the public premium video forecast discussion for Friday, September 15th, 2023. For those of you who are new to the channel, every Friday we have a premium public video discussion, kind of give you a little taste of what you get every day in the premium section of NY and JPA Weather. If you're interested in that, definitely check it out at nyandjpaweather.com for only $11 a month. With that, a little bit of a note for next week. Normally we do every Wednesday a live chat. We won't be doing one this coming Wednesday, taking a little bit of a break, but we'll be coming back the week after unless anything unusual happens. But for the most part, next week is going to just be a little bit of a break. Also taking a break will be our active weather pattern. Let's dive into talk about what is happening out there. Now, currently we have an SOI feature that is clearly negative. This is really important. The SOI is the measurement of how the atmosphere is reacting to the NSO state. So in this case, a moderate to strong El Nino. So we're seeing that it's becoming steadily more negative. We're getting our daily values more sustained in a negative state. We haven't seen positive state in about 10, 15 days. Let's see here. Back to the last one. Go all the way back to August 19th. So as you can see, that sets up and influences a specific weather pattern that sets up as we move through the fall months. Now, fall is an interesting time of year because you have a lot of changes going on. So the polar and subtropical jet stream start to pick up on cold season characteristics, but we're not there yet. So we gotta have a mix of summer characteristics and winter characteristics, and we have a lot of changes going on in the atmosphere. And part of that is the evolution of our polar vortex, which is starting to get its act together. This is it on the European guidance. You can clearly see it's starting to organize, get itself set up. We really can't take much in the way of any type of measurement as far as what's going to evolve and set up for the winter. But clearly, the first step is actually to develop it. And here we are. And this is going to have an influence on our polar jet stream, kind of pull it northward again as the whole pattern starts to evolve. And you can also see it on the GFS. This is from stratobserve.com, an excellent website run by right there, Z.D. Lawrence, who's I believe he has a PhD, or is he in the middle of it, something of that nature, but excellent website. So as you can see, this is a vertical representation of our polar vortex developing. Very, very impressive, nice 3D show here of our display here of our polar vortex organizing and setting up and working its way down towards the tropospheric level. So very impressive setup here, starting to take shape here, which is typical for this time of year. And of course, what that does is that it sets up our 500 millibar pattern, starts to have some influences along with the El Nino. And so what we're going to be dealing with here is a lot of below normal heights over much of the United States, and a shift away from an extremely active weather pattern to more where it's a little bit quieter. Okay, the cold fronts aren't as robust and strong, so you have high pressure primarily dominating in this evolution. And I think part of that has to do with the cold stratospheric environment that we have in place, which leads to above normal 500 millibar heights at the surface and essentially at 500 millibars in the troposphere. And so what we're seeing here is a rather disorganized 500 millibar pattern setting up. But you can see the overall themes here. Trough around the Gulf of Alaska, trough over the eastern United States, ridge around the plains and around the Lido Rockies here. And of course you have your Western Atlantic ridge. So what this tells me is that, yes, you can still have tropical development, but most likely shielded away from the eastern United States over the next 15 days. And also we're going to have to keep an eye on the Gulf of Mexico because you have this lower heights here, see if anything tries to pop up here. Not saying anything will, but if I'm going to keep an eye on any type of landfalling system, it will be in the Gulf of Mexico through the rest of September. But one thing is for sure is that I don't see any type of sustained heat. So good news here is that for the most part, while we will be slightly above normal at times, because this is more of a zonal pattern, so you're not getting any direct polar air masses invading in, you also aren't getting any strong heat building in or invading the region. So you're pretty much Pacific modified air masses, which typically feature slightly above normal temperatures, but not anything extreme. If anything, rather pleasant through the end of the month. We're talking about a lot of 60s and 70s for highs, at times touching around 80 if you're in the Delaware River Valley, and low temperatures starting off in the 40s and then ending up generally around the mid to upper 50s. So overall, pleasant weather. In the meantime, let's talk about the tropics here. We are keeping an eye on this wave here. I have some doubts on the intensity that some of the model guidance is putting on this tropical wave. Certainly robust, certainly plenty of convection, but the influence from Lee, which is quickly becoming an extratropical storm, does have some impacts in terms of the vertical wind shear and dry air ahead of this disturbance, and also the influence of the cooler waters here now, because Lee, which was a powerhouse when passing to the north of the Lesser Antilles and the Greater Antilles, also basically cooled a lot of waters because of upwelling. Okay, so it's not moving through the same type of environment that Lee had. It has more dry air to contend with and cooler waters. So I'm a little skeptical on just how strong this disturbance actually gets, but I would not be surprised if we have a tropical depression by the end of the day. We'll keep an eye on that. But the good news here is that the pattern overall will keep anything that develops here out in the Atlantic. So we're good in that respect. As far as Lee itself, let's zoom in. Again, well, let's take a look at the statistics. Is moving due north at 16 miles per hour, has winds of 85 miles per hour, so it's a Category 1 hurricane. It is rapidly transitioning into a subtropical and then extratropical storm. That's what these lighter shades here mean. And we can see that very nicely here on the satellite picture. Here is our warm core trying to remain relevant, okay, trying to remain sustained, and it's trying to pull in some of the convection, but it's clearly taking on subtropical characteristics. Notice that we're starting to see a nice conveyor belt setting up that you typically see in extratropical storms. You're starting to see drier air wrapping in towards the center. You're starting to see a lot of convective processes away from the low-level center, and the wind field is also expanding, and we can see that very nicely on the observations over towards eastern Long Island, where winds are gusting around 25 miles per hour. So typically in a tropical system, the strongest winds are concentrated towards the center, right? Because this is a warm core process, and you have your eye wall, and that's where you have your strongest winds. In an extratropical storm, the strongest winds are driven by the baroclinic process, which means that the wind potential is expanded, but it's lower. So basically, it's not built up at like 100 miles per hour. It's expanded out at 40 miles per hour, so it reaches more locations in this process. The good news is that as it's transitioning, it's also weakening. It's moving into colder waters, and the thermal gradient is not as impressive either way. So this is going to be a pretty nasty storm heading up towards the Canadian Maritimes. But for us, pretty much dealing with some cloud cover, some pretty cool cloud cover throughout the day as you head towards the coast. And the sunset is going to be absolutely amazing. And for eastern Long Island, you're going to have some potential here for some of these isolated showers moving through. Same thing for eastern Connecticut, but the bulk of your rainfall will remain well east of the region. Taking a look at our observations, you can see again, there is our stronger winds out here towards the east end of Long Island. We're gusting up to about 25 miles per hour, 25 knots, let's say 25, 30 miles per hour is our gusts. And you can see as we head further away, the winds are not nearly as strong, coming in from the north around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Temperatures on average range from the lower to mid 50s over the northern interior, a few upper 40s still mixed in there. Along the coast, mid to upper 50s, and then around Long Island, lower 60s are in place. When we take a look at our surface map and radar from WeatherTap, there's our high pressure system of control. There is the very edge of Lee, and we have the stationary front out here as well. As Lee lifts northward, basically it'll start to co-opt this stationary front and lift north as an extratropical storm. You see that very nicely here in our upper level winds. Here is our subtropical jet stream just pushing along. Here is Lee starting to become entrained in the polar jet stream, lifting northward. And you can see the influence of our positively tilted trough keeping Lee away from much of the eastern United States, outside of Maine, and of course, talking about the Canadian Maritimes, heading up for a rather nasty day. On the visible satellite pictures, get an update, see if we got a little bit better view here. You can see the outer edge of Lee very well defined here, very impressive over portions of western Long Island, cutting through western Connecticut into Hudson River Valley. Over New Jersey, basically nothing, right? It's going to be beautiful. Why is that the case? Because behind Lee, in not only Lee, but in any type of tropical system, you have a lot of rising air, and then you also have a balance of sinking air. So sinking air is setting up here, setting up a wonderful day for much of the northern mid-Atlantic, outside of basically Long Island and Connecticut, where you're going to be dealing with some cloud cover. On the infrared satellite picture, you can see again, refresh this real fast, and you can see Lee again lifting northward. It's lost a lot of its deep convection, continuing to move northward. There's our weather through the rest of this weekend. And then we have this cold front moving through Sunday evening through Monday. It's going to lead to some scattered showers. No thunderstorms are expected at this time, but definitely some showers capable of some brief heavy downpours. So let's dive through this forecast. For today, there is Lee lifting northward. See this little ridge out here, right here, in the process between these two lows? That's going to set up beautiful weather for Saturday, although a bit breezy because you have still a pressure gradient setting up at the surface. So winds are going to be coming in from the northwest around 10 to 20 miles per hour along the coast. As you head further inland, 5 to 15 miles per hour. And also, of course, if you're heading out towards the waters, definitely watch out for some strong riptides. That disturbance lifts out, and then on Sunday evening into Monday morning, we have another short wave and trough marching its way through with some pretty good PVA here, setting up the potential for some scattered showers. Taking a look at our 850 millibar temperatures through this weekend. Can't ask for better, for September. Absolutely perfect for a polar air mass to come in and provide pleasant, dry conditions, low humidity. Absolutely wonderful. There's our next tropical system. Notice the warm core feature here. Well far away, and the reason why it's going to stay far away is because it's going to be moving through a weakness in the weather pattern that sets up our tropical system to lift away from our area. So certainly that's some good news there. Again, there is that weakness I was talking about that funnels everything away from us. So in the meantime, we remain in a pattern where we don't see much in the way of precipitation, but we do get a lot of troughs and little short waves moving through. But again, as I discussed previously, not a lot of really hot air. That all remains out in the plains. We pretty much remain under the influence of this Pacific pattern with a more Pacific air mass in place that is modified and provides generally quiet and dry weather conditions. So let's dive through this forecast. For today, high pressures in control. Look for scattered cloud cover over Connecticut and Long Island, possibly an isolated shower. Otherwise, look for beautiful weather conditions for the rest of the region with high temperatures ranging from the upper 60s to lower 70s over the northern interior and along the coast, lower to mid 70s in the Delaware River Valley. For tonight through tomorrow, Lee continues to lift northward well to the east of us. High pressures in control to the west of us. We are stuck in between with scattered cloud cover and breezy northerly wind around 5 to 15 miles per hour, times gusting up to 25 miles per hour along the immediate coast. Look for low temperatures to range from the upper 40s to lower 50s over the northern interior, mid to upper 50s in our suburbs, and upper 50s to lower 60s in our urban areas. For tomorrow morning, look for scattered cloud cover. Again, there is a threat for a few isolated showers for eastern Connecticut and eastern Long Island. Not looking for much in the way of any type of significant impact, but they are tropical showers, so they could produce a brief heavy downpour. The rest of the region, absolutely beautiful. But you see the pressure gradient here? See how the lines are kind of packing here? That's going to set up breezy conditions for tomorrow, setting up a northwesterly wind around 10 to 20 miles per hour. Look for high temperatures ranging from the lower to mid 70s over the northern interior, mid to upper 70s along the coast. On Sunday, high pressure will be in control in the morning, giving way in the afternoon with increasing cloud cover. Look for low temperatures in the upper 40s to lower 50s over the northern interior, mid 50s along the coast. High temperatures will range from the upper 60s to lower 70s over the northern interior, mid to upper 70s along the coast, and upper 70s to lower 80s in the Delaware River Valley. On Sunday evening through Monday morning, an area of low pressure and cold front will move through with scattered showers, capable of a brief heavy downpour here and there, clearing out in the afternoon. Look for low temperatures on Monday ranging from the mid 50s and high temperatures ranging from the upper 60s to lower 70s over the northern interior, mid to upper 70s along the coast. On Tuesday, high pressures in control with tranquil conditions, and really that's going to remain in place all the way through the end of next week. So quiet weather conditions will be in place. Temperatures will remain comfortable as well. Look for low temperatures in the upper 40s to lower 50s over the northern interior, mid to upper 50s along the coast. High temperatures range from the upper 60s to mid 70s over the northern interior and mid to upper 70s along the coast. So again, a little bit above normal, but comfortable, tranquil, quiet, and dry. So an absolutely wonderful period of weather is on the way. Dodge a few showers out towards eastern Long Island for tomorrow, and also a few showers moving through Sunday night into Monday morning, and that is about it. That is your premium video forecast discussion for today. Have a wonderful day, and as always, stay safe out there.